Well, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, the 2nd of December. How on earth did that happen? How did we get to December already? I don't know. This is week 7 of the Change One Thing challenge. So I hope that it's all been going really well for you. It's been a funny old week, you know. I've been talking to a few of my clients, and we've definitely found that engagement has been down this week. We don't seem to be having the same sort of numbers engaging on daily card posts that we've had before. Very, very strange. But then I guess it is that change from November to December, and suddenly the countdown clock is really on for the Christmas celebrations. I myself am heading down to Buckinghamshire tomorrow. We're actually leaving at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So today, whilst I have some work that I would like to get done and will get done, there's also the final things like tidying the house through, packing the clothes, making sure that the cats have got everything they need for the I was about to say for the staff to come in. I don't mean that at all. For our friends to come in who are feeding them. So today for me is very, very much about just pulling together all of those loose ends. Next week's video will come at 10 o'clock on Monday as expected, but I will be broadcasting from a friend's house, so I'm rather excited about that. So what did I want to talk about today? Well, I wanted to look at motivation. I wanted to look at 7 weeks in, you've embedded some new habits, you have tried out some new things, you've discarded some things that don't work for you, you've reviewed what you're doing, you've refreshed it, you've set yourself some new goals, maybe you've even started a new challenge of your own. So I really want to talk about keeping up that momentum, keeping up that motivation. We started this challenge in September, in the autumn. We're now heading into the depths of winter. For us up here in Scotland, that means that it doesn't get light until 8:15. It doesn't even start to get light until 8:15. And we've lost the light by around about 3:30, 3 o'clock in some instances, if the weather's bad. And that does turn my thoughts to hibernation, to why should I bother to do anything at all when I haven't got as many hours of daylight? And that's when I have to give myself a strict talking to. Because in order for us to build our businesses, to change things in our life, to turn things around, we need to work on that every single day. Not just the days that we can be bothered, but every single day. So those of you that were looking at really embracing what's gone on before, accepting your life that has gone before. It's about giving thanks every day for what you have now, that you have because of what's happened before, the path that you're on. For those of you that wanted to put more exercise into your daily life, well, I've said it before and I will say it again. I completed 75 miles in November. It was touch and go. I actually completed the 75 miles on the 29th of November, not the 30th. So I did have to give myself a good push. But, you know, a year ago, I didn't walk. And now I walk 3 times a week. And it's great to have people to go with, because for me, having people to go with, hello, Fiona, lovely to see you. Having people to go walking with means that I'm not just letting myself down if I don't go, I'm letting them down. And there is a very strange psychological aspect to this, that often we don't value ourselves enough to do things for us. We'll do it readily for other people, absolutely not a problem. But if it was just for us, we would find other things to do. I've been watching Facebook. It's December, so lots and lots of challenges are coming out from business coaches, life coaches, people that want to help you. And there's been a huge movement just recently on Self-Care Sunday. What are you doing on a Sunday to take care of yourself? And there's a lot of talk in there about the fact that we don't prioritize ourselves. So I'm going to say, if you don't prioritize you, why should anybody else? So that's a little bit about motivation. Those of you that were looking to have more clients, to attract more clients to you, the more that you're seen out there doing what you love, being happy, being just around and spreading your news, spreading your value, the more clients will be attracted to you. I know that December can be an awfully difficult month. I understand that. And I used to do networking down in Devon an awful lot with some national companies. And we used to say in August and December, they were supposedly the two hardest months to get people to come and network. August because it was holidays, December because people were thinking about Christmas. But you know, if you were employed in a 9 to 5, your boss would expect you to give your best up until whenever you finish for Christmas. For some people, that is actually 5:30 on the 24th of December, if the 24th of December runs on a Monday to Friday. Think about the people that work round the clock in warehouse distribution centres, or those people that are in the shops that we all frequent. Well, their Christmas doesn't stop on the 20th of December. They're working right up to, in some instances, I believe, 10 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve. Now, you work for yourself. Do you owe it to yourself to do the same? Yes, you need some family time. Yes, you need downtime. That's why I'm away for the next 7 days. I'm having time with family. Hello, Lindsay. Lovely to see you. I'm having time away with family, but I will still be doing work while I'm out there. As I say, next week's live will come from my friend's office in Marlow because he's offered me the opportunity and that's what I'm going to do. So we shouldn't start putting things off now because Christmas is coming. Today is the 2nd of December. You have 22 days until Christmas comes. 22 days to make sure that whatever you have decided to change in this challenge is still being implemented. Now, Lindsay was out yesterday and did a couple of lovely lives where she was talking to us about the beauty of nature, and she stood by a water drain so that you could hear the stillness, but you could also hear the water flowing, which Lindsay finds, and I find, actually very soothing. For some people, I'm sure it can be quite annoying, but for us, very, very soothing. But she was out there and she was saying, you just need to do these things. Be led by your heart. Be led by what your heart tells you to do. Those of you that were looking to focus, I really hope that the past 6 weeks have been able to give you the focus that you need, has been able to give you some tips and techniques. I still want you to carry on. I think that every day we should sit down and we should look at our to-do lists and we should focus on what the top 3 most important things are that we have to get through that day and get through them. Brian Tracy wrote a wonderful book called Eat That Frog. Terrible title, and I'm not overly keen on the thought of eating a frog, but that's the point. We all have things in our life that we're not overly keen on tackling, and so we put them to one side, we brush them off, we don't deal with them, and those frogs get bigger and bigger and bigger the longer we leave them. So Brian Tracy's book tells us every day, pick 2 frogs off your to-do list, and you take the biggest one first and you eat the biggest frog first. So the thing that is weighing the most heavy on you is the one that you deal with, and you get it out of the way first thing, then it's done. You'll be relieved because it's done. We have the most amazing brains. We have the most amazing conscious thoughts and subconscious thoughts. And it's our subconscious thoughts that absolutely do for all of us. Those subconscious thoughts that we're not even aware of, that are our negative self-talk, that are telling us we're not good enough, that are telling us we can't do it. We're not even necessarily aware of those messages. So we need to become aware. And that's where our to-do list comes in. That's where our focus comes in. And that's where eating frogs comes in. Those of you that are looking for a significant other in your life, you can try kissing those frogs. I don't know how many you'll need to kiss before you find your prince or princess, but you never know. Now, those of you that were into shedding pounds, December, well, 22 days until Christmas Eve. That doesn't mean that you have to give up all of your hard work now. Believe me, I've been to the diet clubs. I know exactly when I give up. Tonight is my first party. I'm not having that many. However, I do have a week away, a week of seeing friends. A lot of that revolves around restaurant meals. I don't know whether I've actually shared this with many of you, but tomorrow we head to Edinburgh because we're doing afternoon tea on the Royal Yacht Britannia. And I am so excited about that. This is something that a friend has bought for us as a gift. I probably would never have gone to Britannia off my own back, but I'm so excited about doing that. And you can bet your bottom dollar that I am going to be eating scones, clotted cream, cake, sandwiches. Now, bear in mind, everybody, I'm essentially dairy-free. I'm essentially bread-free. I'm essentially anything that is the least bit nice free. But I will be taking some time out tomorrow and enjoying that. And it's the season for all of you to do that. However, you take each meal as it comes. So tomorrow morning's breakfast will be completely on plan. Tomorrow's lunch will probably be this afternoon tea, and then out in the evening with another friend for a meal. So I will try to go back onto plan. I don't drink alcohol, so that's not a problem for me. But if you are an alcohol drinker, enjoy your glass of alcohol, whatever that may be, and get back on plan the day after. You see, you're not going to be celebrating Christmas every day for the next 22 days. You might be celebrating a couple of days here and a couple of days there. Fine. Get back on your plan, whatever your plan is in between times. Just because you go out and enjoy yourself doesn't mean you've wrecked everything. Far from it. It's life. I used to be with one of the big national weight loss companies, and they would give us ideas of what to have on Christmas Day. And it revolved around their plan. And some of their recipes were utterly amazing and gave you different things to think about, like having a fish starter, having a different type of stuffing with your turkey, but cooking your turkey in a different way, cooking your vegetables in a different way. And I did apply a lot of this. We did go for a lot of very low fat Christmases. And we rather enjoyed it. I haven't bought tins of chocolates for the last 12 years. We don't eat chocolates at Christmas. We eat nuts, but we eat nuts all through the year. So now, where I'm looking at a high fat, medium protein, low carb, actually nuts form a lovely part of that. So we've already put together a big kilogram tub of nuts and fruit that we can dip into, and that's our pleasure. It's not a guilty pleasure. There's no guilt in it. So those of you that are looking to shed the pounds, the motivation for you is that if you can go meal to meal, you may gain a little bit of weight, but actually you will shed it the other side of Christmas. That Christmas weight always goes quite quickly. And just think about the fact that because you're going meal to meal, you're not actually going to be sat there just gorging for the sake of it, which as a person on a national programme, I did because I knew that tomorrow or the week after I would not be allowed those chocolates again. Well, I'm hoping that those of you that have looked to shed pounds haven't actually done it through a strict diet, but have done it through moving around what you have, a bit like me and my dairy-free, my carb-free way of life. So motivation, self-belief, drive, enthusiasm, habit. That's what I want this Change One Thing challenge to leave with you. I believe the saying is it takes 21 repetitions for something to become a habit. It feels like it's more for me. But if you have stayed with me up to this point, then actually you have done probably 48 days of changing one thing, and that should now be really embedded. I think that we all struggle with everything that is around us, all the distractions that are around us. So we've got business, we've got family, we've got pets, we've got general election, of course. We've got bad news. I watched breakfast TV this morning and thought to myself how interesting it was that the stories coming out had a very bigger positive flavour to them. And I think that's symptomatic of what's happened in the last week. If you can focus on the positives, if you can just look at all the great stuff that you have done so far in moving towards whatever it is you're trying to change, then actually focusing on the positives really makes you smile. Making you smile releases endorphins. Endorphins give you the motivation to go on, and you're suddenly in an upward spiral. Can't spiral in a there we go, that's better. You're in an upward spiral, always looking forward, always with a smile on your face. So I haven't heard from many of you this week. Fiona and I had the conversation quite early on in the week. Oh, look, there's all these messages that I couldn't see. Fiona and I had all of these conversations earlier in the week about the fact that the group Fiona runs has had very, very little interaction this week. And I really don't know what that's all about. As I said at the top of the show, I think it's just that people were busy this week because it's the start of Christmas. Who knows? But always remember that even if you don't get interaction, people are still watching you online and they're still learning from you. They're still deriving value from you. Now, I'm delighted that I've got Lindsay and Fiona here with me today. It's nice to be able to ping back and forwards. But equally, if they hadn't have been here, I would still have recorded this video in exactly the same way and I would have put it out there to you. Because you may not be watching now, but you may be catching my replay. And that is all to the good. So let's have a look. When I was talking about Self-Care Sunday, Fiona said, had a lovely walk in Mugdock Park on Saturday. Very crisp and cold, but gorgeous. And Fiona put some great pictures up from that walk. And it is super to be out in nature. Lindsay gave me some lovely pictures of frogs to go with my Eat That Frog analogy and said, I'm on it. And then, I'm going to have to squint a little bit here. Lindsay's given me an icon. Is that, Lindsay, a glass of cocktail saying, yeah? Was that in response to my alcohol? I can't quite see the icon properly. So I think I'm going into waffle territory now. I think I've said all I need to say. It's motivation that takes you forward. It's motivation that gives you momentum. Momentum gets you results. Results gets you confidence. Confidence gets you self-belief. With self-belief, you have motivation. Do you see where I'm going? I draw angel oracle cards on a fairly regular basis, and I did some this morning for myself. This is my new pack. I absolutely adoring this pack of cards, and I'm getting some recurring themes coming out, all about the path that I'm on being the correct path, that I am making the right decisions, that I'm doing what I need to do, and I think that is fantastic. And so the ones that have come out today were navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. And that is all about being heart-led. It's about the fact that the path is ahead of you. You may not know where that path is going. It may not be clear to you at all. However, just keep going, be led by the heart, and actually you will get there. It is all mapped out for you. You're doing the right thing. Love this card. The rest are in the middle, so I'll have a quick flick through and see what else I've come up with. Last week, I kept pulling this one, Breaking Trail, a breakthrough is at hand. Well, that card to me means that everything that I am doing is heading in the right direction. This card keeps me motivated to carry on doing what I'm doing because it serves a purpose. And actually, there was a huge breakthrough last week. It was super. Lindsay has just told me that the picture is a picture of a yacht, and it was for afternoon tea on the Britannia, which is lovely. And another card that I pick up, not very often, but fairly often, which I think is great for all of you. Valiant Courage. Take action with passion. Those of you that have come with me on the Change One Thing challenge, you had a passion. You had something that you wanted to do, something that you wanted to change, something that you felt an urge inside of you to make better. As we go through, you know, some of you, it was shedding pounds, it was focus, it was more clients, it was confidence, it was decluttering, it was exercise. And each of you had to change something in your life in order to make this happen. You had courage. You took action with passion. And that's the card that I want to leave you with today. Because everything you do, if you take action with passion, you will get that beautiful motivation, upward spiral, uplifting, taking you forward, making your life a happier one. So there you go. A little bit more philosophical today, I think, than cold hard facts, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of philosophy. So I'm going to love you and leave you. As I say, next week I will be working from a different office, so I have no idea how that's going to go, but I will be down south, so we will have a good broadband connection, and it will be week 8 and we'll be wrapping everything up. Please do leave me some comments. Tell me how you've been getting on. Tell me whether this has inspired you to set some new targets, new goals for 2020. And I think we will talk about what you want to do in 2020 and how that works with me. So for now, I'd like to say goodbye to Fiona. I'd like to say goodbye to Lindsay. Thank you very much for joining me today. And this recording will go up and out. In fact, I will put this out on YouTube because there's nothing particularly personal in it. So that's Sam signing off. I will see you same time next week. Take care now.